Hello everyone, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be Leticia James. The Trump administration has now, or Pam Bondi, same thing, has now opened up two investigations into Leticia James. One is a grand jury investigation into her civil fraud case against Trump, which she won, and there was a $450 million judgment against Trump. This was the one that made him a felon, 34 counts, felon. And then there's a second investigation, and this is both Adam Schiff and Leticia James, and it has to do with mortgage fraud, but it's not. They claimed a second residence that was not like a vacation residence. It's actually like for work. And it's a gray area in the law. Both Democrats and Republicans have both done this. And so it's kind of like you can't, if you want to close the loophole, change the law. Okay, so it's a federal law, and as I said, both Democrats and Republicans do this. You know, a lot of lawmakers will have a second home, you know, closer to DC that they can live in while they're, you know, doing their job. So it's something like it's that same case. So of Leticia James and mortgage fraud, which, you know, they can say it, but that doesn't make it true. So what I want to do is I want to do a base reading into the investigations into James. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to divide those out. I'm going to look first at the grand jury. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the grand jury doesn't come back with something, just because from what I've been hearing with other lawyers like Glenn Kirshner, Michael Popak, in general, you know, it seems like they have been saying that grand jury, like the level of, you know, standard for getting, you know, like an indictment coming out of the grand jury, it's pretty a low bar. So I wouldn't be surprised for something like that, for like the grand jury to come back with something. And they have before in other, I can't even remember now what the case was, but it was really, it was like one page and it was really like flimsy stuff. So actually that could have been Judge Dugan. Hannah Dugan. It could have been her case because that was a grand jury thing, and it was like there was nothing there type thing. So I want to look into the grand jury investigation and also the mortgage fraud. What I got on the Adam Schiff side of that is it was not going to go anywhere. So with that being said, and before I jump into the reading, I want to show you my Nigel Jackson deck. I showed it in the other one, but I'm not sure what order I'm going to put these in, so I want to kind of redo this. This deck, I love this deck, and it needs to go back into print, okay? Put this back into print. And is this a U.S. Games or Llewellyn? I think it's a Llewellyn. Yeah, it's Llewellyn. So this needs to be back in print because I love this deck. What I did, I like cards that don't have a border around them. And so what I did to my Nigel Jackson deck, they actually should look like this. This should be the card. So what I did was I cut the borders off of them. So if you see here that this actually is the card size, because that's the face of it, or pretty close. Yeah, see, that's pretty close. So I cut the borders off because I like him that way. And so now this deck is out of print and I can't get any more. I mean, I still love them. And if I got another deck, I probably would do the same thing, cut the borders off of them. So if anybody from Llewellyn, if you're hearing this, put this back into print, but don't have borders on them. Okay, that's my plea to Llewellyn with that. So side quest. I always, you know, whenever you see people like, oh, you have to like wrap your, you know, taking care of your tarot cards. You have to wrap them in what is like silk and, you know, all of this stuff. You know, most of the time, if I have a rubber band holding them together, that's doing pretty good. So anyway, it's all your intention. If that's what you need to do to, you know, feel connected to your cards, you do that. But yeah, I don't. So Anyway, with that being said, side quest there, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the reading of looking first at the grand jury into investigation into Leticia James, and then I'll move into the mortgage fraud side of that. Okay. As always, these are for entertainment purposes only. Looking into the grand jury investigation into Leticia James. Okay. And with that, this is essentially a new deck, even though I've had this as like a new deck. So the Lover's card is the very first card that comes up. Is that not just gorgeous artwork? I just love this artwork. Okay, and so this is telling me about agreements. Okay, so the here and now, agreements that were made. And the next card, two of wands. Okay, once again, this is going to be, conversations, agreements that were being made. Ace of Cups. I wonder, very quickly, big feels, big emotions. Two of Wands, Six of Cups, so nostalgia, very quickly. I think this is kind of like promises. Oh my goodness, this is just trying to... Okay, this is a distraction. There's nothing here that says anything about any legal wrongdoing whatsoever. This is all about, this is placating the base. That's what this is. Because this is the Lovers, so agreements that were made, promises to, in the past. The foundation is quickly, and it's like trying to move that news cycle off of the Epstein files, trying to give the base something that they will love. The Two of Wands, always see wands as those communications that are happening, between people. The emotional part of this, it's like trying to, give his base something, and then the Hierophant. In the name of the government, we were going to root out corruption. Okay, so are they going to actually come up with anything? Are they going to come up with anything? These cards are sticking together. There we go. Judgment, the horn of truth is sounded. And this is also the Pluto energy and like just that explosiveness of when the truth comes out. This, the Emperor, the truth comes out about, King Old, Don Old there. And, the Seven of Pentacles, reaping what you sow. Let me just take a moment here with this. So the challenge are these, the talks. People hearing the truth. Okay, so I don't think this investigation is going anywhere at all. This is like this grand jury thing. I'm going to ask again on, is there going to be anything come out of this? Because whenever I ask, is there anything coming out of this? It's like the truth is being told about Don, and he's going to have to reap what he sowed. Okay, so this is not going to, like, he thinks that this is going to, a grand jury investigation into Leticia James doesn't come anywhere close to what Maggot wants, which is the releasing of the Epstein files. So this is not going to do anything. This is not going to move the base in any way, shape, or form. So, will the grand jury come back with any kind of recommended indictments? Okay? Don't care what's going to happen. I don't care what's going to happen to Trump, right now. We got this. Good to know. I want to know, will the grand jury have any indictments? Okay, and with that, the Tower card, things, like just falling apart, not happy with what's being done. I would be surprised if anything. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 of wands holding on to, yeah, I don't think that there's going to be anything coming out. It's like it falls apart. There's nothing there. She did her job. She won the case. So yeah, I'm not seeing there be anything. Um, I think that Trump's downfall comes before anything would come out of this grand jury. And it's almost like with the grand jury, we've got bigger things happening in the United States. So this kind of falls to the wayside. Okay. I'm just not seeing anything really happen with that. So let me look into the Adam Schiff. Let's do some. Not Adam, I'm sorry. It's the mortgage fraud, like Adam Schiff is being investigated for. Is anything going to come out of the mortgage fraud investigation? Okay, and with mortgage fraud, what's coming up is 10 of Cups. You know, this is literally happy home. So I think she's gonna be just fine. Okay. I mean, the Chariot, this is like, let me see. The challenge is, how are they going to go forward? Because everything she did was legal. Okay. Having to defend oneself. I kind of wonder if it's not Ed Martin who's been put in charge of this. And I mean, he's just a piece of shit person right there. He is, he worked on getting the January 6th Proud Boys out of jail. And he's in the interim position because he's even a bridge too far for the Senate to confirm. So, like, even the maggots in the Senate are like, oh, hell no. So, yeah, he's a real piece of garbage. So I think this almost turns into, like, he has to defend himself more so than her having to defend herself. Okay. Fool. New beginnings, but I'm just with this card and knowing, what's been reported about Ed Martin, he is not exactly the best person for the job. He can't even get confirmed, okay? So he doesn't have many allies. He doesn't have much support as far as the other politicians go. So I just don't see this, being successful. This is Trump, in the past, working, and he's, working on all the things that Trump wants him to work on. Let's see, so he's just, good little soldier there for, water boy for Trump. And that's how he got rewarded with this. And this is my Page of Swords. This is my lack of commitment card. It's also lack of experience. And what was it? Is he the one that didn't even have, no, that might have been someone else. It's hard to keep everybody straight. Like, is he the one that didn't even have prosecutorial experience? I've got two people written down. One is John Sarcone, and he's the special attorney for the grand jury. And now you have the special attorney here, Ed Martin, for this mortgage fraud. So he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't know what he's doing. That's where I'm going with all of that. It doesn't matter. Trump only hires the best. He only knows the best. And by the best, it's the worst. So yeah, I'm not seeing that go anywhere. Let's see here. What do we got? Will anything come? Let me just ask. Just, 3 cards, any final message type thing. Justice. Trump's Justice Department, that's exactly what that is. And it's like they have a plan to go forward. They're just going to keep doing this. The methodical plan to go forward with all of this retribution and retaliation against Trump's enemies. And that's how he's using the Justice Department. So this is just more of the same. I'm not seeing it go anywhere. at all. In fact, if anything, I'm looking here, the only movement card that I got was the chariot, and it came up in the challenge. So the challenge is even getting this to go forward because this they're fine. Yeah, they didn't do anything wrong. So in Trump's bid to try to distract from his legal troubles, he's trying to cause legal troubles for other people, for his political people he's deemed his political enemies. So I don't see this going anywhere. If there is a grand jury, anything, and I'm only saying this because the people who are lawyers say that standard is so low for a grand jury to have any indictments. But like Judge Hannah Dugan, I'm pretty sure that was hers. It was like there was nothing there, so I'm kind of expecting like that same kind of outcome with that. Like there may be, but it's just like this is nothing. That's kind of what I'm seeing with that. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I think I'll put that other Adam Schiff reading up here. It's been a little while, but since it's related to the mortgage fraud, I think I'll put that one up there for you guys to watch and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next reading. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time.